Hi there, this is Angelina and welcome back to my channel. We will be doing some real-world data analysis in SQL with LEGO Dataset. I'm sure most of you played with Legos when you were younger, or you probably still own some Lego sets now. Today we are going to assume the role of a data analyst, tasked to make some information available before a big meeting. Okay, so now let's see how we can get the data so that we can start the analytics and make this information useful for the meeting. We are going to be using data from the website called Rebrickable.com. The URL I'll share in the description below. According to Rebrickable.com's website, they have the inventory database, the parts, colors, and sets database for anyone to download in a CSV file. And they say that the data they have is only on the official LEGO items, okay? Now, when you go to their website and you go to the Other tab, you see Downloads and then you see API. Now, the Downloads is where we currently are. We're about to download all of these zip files. Now, when you unzip them, you see some CSV data sets in there. We have about 12 items to download. And then when you go back here and you see the Rebrickable API, assuming you wanted to do some real-time data analysis, you can use their API, which I haven't tried yet. However, they say that they have some limitations for bulk download. Okay. Now, also, they have a data module. So the data that we're about to download, when we click on this image here, it shows us how the data relate to each other. We have inventories, sets, parts, colors, themes, and a few things here that per their image, we know how to relate the data set, which is very, very helpful. So now go ahead and download all these items here. I have already gone ahead to download them. And because the data set on here is zipped, you need some type of software to unzip the data, okay? So I have WinRAR. So once I right click, I go to extract here, and then I'm able to extract all the information out of the zip, okay? So download the data, unzip them, and then we can create a database with the data that we have actually extracted from the zip files, okay? Since I have all my data sets ready and extracted, I would move on to SQL Server Management Studio, where I'm about to create a database and then and then upload or import all the files in here into a database. Now we're going to create a database called Rebrickable in SQL Server. So create a connection, and then I'm going to hit connect. And then on the databases, I do not have Rebrickable here, so I'm going to right click and I'm going to say new database, and I want to call the database Rebrickable. Okay, and I'll hit OK here. All right, so now that we have done that, we don't have any tables. Let's go ahead and import all these files into a table. Okay, we will import each CSV into a different table. So now we're going to have 12 tables at the end of this import. Okay, now this is going to be repetitive and a manual process. There are so many ways of importing data, but I thought this would be one of the easiest way to go about it. So you right click on your database, you go to task, and then you go down here to import flat file. Okay, click on that and go to next. Browse to the location of the file, select your color, hit open, and then we want the same we want the file names, okay, to be same as the table names we're about to create. So I won't change anything here. I would go next, and I'll uncheck this box, very important. Go next, and then go next, hit finish, close. Once we refresh our tables, we should see color, okay? So we are going to do this repetitive step. Again, right click on Rebrickable database, go to task, go to import flat file, browse to the location of the file. In our case, we want to pick elements. We want to hit open, the same name, leave everything as is, uncheck this box, go next, and repeat this 12 times, okay? So I'm going to go through mine quickly. Okay, what is the error? Error inserting data into table, the given value of type string cannot be converted to n-var. Oh, okay. And there was a truncation. How do we fix truncation on here without SSIS? Okay, let's skip this and come back to it. Well, let me find out if it created the object. Okay, there's no parts. We'll figure it out. The parts will be the last item for us to import. We probably will have to use SSIS. Flat file, go next. Browse. I'll go to sets. I hope that is good. Go next. Uncheck that. Go next. 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 Finish. Close. Okay. One more, and then we start to tackle the one that failed. Okay. Go next. Browse. Select themes. Open. Next. Uncheck that. Next. Okay, so we have the chance to modify columns. I'll try the parts again. Go next. Finish. All right, let's try this again here. If it doesn't work out, then we will go ahead and use another tool to import that. Go next. Browse to parts. Open. Okay, we want the table to be called parts. Go next. And uncheck that. Go next. Yes, I want to modify the columns. I want to change this to varchar instead of n varchar. Do I not see? Oh, there we go. And I want that to be 200. 200. And then I want to change this to varchar as well. And I want to change that. No, I won't change the length. I'll leave it as is. I want to change this to varchar. And part material, I want to change that to 100. And then the part number, I'll change that to varchar 50 and see what we get. So we go next. Fingers crossed. Uh-oh. I don't know what's going on here, but let's do SSIS. I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to refresh my tables. The only thing we haven't imported so far is the parts. Okay. So I'm going to quickly create an SSIS package to help me do this. So I have a package here. I created an SSIS package and I'm using data flow task. The data flow task is actually using a flat file source and then it's going to the location of the file. I am not creating a new one, but okay, browse to the location of the file. And over here, I'm changing it to CSV and I'm selecting parts. I'm hitting OK. And over here, the only thing I'm changing is this test qualifier. And I'll leave everything as is. I'll leave everything as is. Let me just increase the length on this one to 200. And then for the material, I'll do 100. Okay. Now that is all that I'm doing with the type length. And then over here on the error output, I'm going to select all that. Okay, it's already there. Ignore failure. I'm going to apply. Sorry. Ignore failure. Apply to all. Okay, and I'll hit OK. Now I'm going to do OLEDB destination. And I've already created a connection to my Rebrickable database. So I'm going to create new because I want to use that as parts. And I'm going to call it parts. Is it parts or part? Okay, hit OK. Now let me do the mappings. Hit OK. Now let's see if we have a successful load. Execute task. Perfect. In progress. Everything looks good. Sorry, I meant to go into the data flow task. We imported 46,555 rows. Perfect. So we stop the package and now we go back to SQL Server Management Studio. Refresh tables, we should see parts. Okay. Well, if one process failed, we go the other way. All right, so now we are ready to do our analysis because now we know how to relate the data per the data module. We have all the data imported in the database, and now we have all the tables just as they do here. Okay, so we go back to Management Studio, and then what is our first question to answer? Okay, so let's click on New Query, and then the first question that we are supposed to answer is, what is the total number of parts per theme? Now, before we can do that, we have to inspect the data set, but I have already done that inspection. I know that in the sets table, we have the theme ID, we have the number of parts, and then we have the theme table. So I know that we can join sets to theme. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So I'm going to go into SQL Server. I'm going to select from sets. I'm going to do select star. And for sets, I'll do S. And I'm going to do an inner join to themes called T on. Is that what we call it? Oh, we call it sets. Okay. So to make it easier to read, let me just do dbo.set and dbo.themes. Invalid object. Okay, drag and drop this here. Whatever that is, I do not know. And then I'm going to hit Ctrl-Shift-R. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to do s.star and then t.star for now. And then I'm going to join on s.theme ID is equal to t.theme ID. Sorry, t.id. Okay. Okay. I believe I would like to create a view so that we can do simple queries going forward. Okay, so let's probably create a view before we answer the first question. So we can do this create view, and we call the view analytics main. And then we can do this because the tables could have identical column names and we can have the same column names selected twice in a view. So you see that it's saying the column name was specified multiple times. So what we're about to do is that we're going to be specific and we're going to select the columns that we need. So from the S table, I want set numbers. And from S, I want name, ID. Okay, before we continue, let me quickly check. What is parent ID? Oh, parent ID is like the parent theme and it refers to itself, I believe. I think I already looked into this data set. That's why I know this. Okay, so now before we continue, I want to be able to use this. So I'm going to do another join on themes again. I'm going to do I do an inner join or a left join? Let me do a left join on both for now. Left, left. Because I'm not really familiar with the data set and I don't want an inner join to remove any data set that is not found in both. So I want everything from sets because it has a number of parts. And then if there's no theme, then fine. Okay. And then I want to do the parent theme. So over here, I'm going to join on the t.parentID because T is from the parent theme. And then we are going to join on p.id, pd, pt, is that what I call it? Let me just simply call it P. Okay, and from here I'm trying to select p.name as parent theme name, and then I would use this as theme name. Do I need the ID? And then I have the name. Okay, parts. And I'm going to cast the number of parts as numeric because right now I imported it as characters. So I want to cast number of parts as numeric. And then I have to give it an alias, copy that. That will be the name. What else do I need? I have my theme ID, I have the year, I have the set name, and then I have the set number. Set number, let me call this as set name. So now we have a set name, theme name, parent theme name. Perfect. Now I think I am ready to create a view with this data set. Create. Perfect. So now let's see what we just did. Let's select this view. Select star from dbo.this name and execute. Perfect. Now if we go back to our database and we go to views, we should have analytics main. Perfect. Now I can clear this script here. Now we can make simple queries. The first question we want to answer is what is the total number of parts per theme? And we can simply do, now that we see the data here, we can do the theme name per theme. So theme name, we're about to use some group bys. Theme name, and then we're going to, is it count or sum? Let's do a sum of the number of parts. Num parts. as what? Total num parts. Okay, and then Control Shift R to remove the red squiggly lines, and then I'll do a group by the theme name. Now we see that the parent theme is blank for a few records. I do not know how many, but my question, maybe I could try without the parent theme name and with the parent theme name. This is what I mean. So this is the first question you're answering. What is the total number of parts per theme? So let's do an order by so that we can order by the sum. Order by to descending order. Perfect. So according to the data set, if we want to answer any question regarding the theme and the number of parts, at least we know the top 5. We have the Technic, Star Wars, Creator Expert, Creator, and Ninjago. From the data set, clearly Technic is the number 1 in terms of total number of parts involved in that set or in that theme. So that is how to answer the first question. Now, what I was saying is that I saw that once we did the join, before we continue, so let's start from select start from analytics. Okay, now once we did the join, I see that there are multiple places where the theme name, the parent theme name, is blank. Now this query we just ran, we did it with everything. So let's put a where clause, where parent theme name is not null, and let's see if Technic will still be number 1. If the question they need us to answer requires us to have that condition in there, we can simply toggle it like that, and then we will be able to answer that question. So right now, let's add that condition, run the script. Okay, by removing all the records where the parent theme ID is not null, we realize that Creator Expert is the number 1 theme with a lot of parts. Okay, so looking at the data set, it could be Technic, it could be Creator Expert. So this is how we are going to answer the first question. We will exclude row number 8, line number 8 in terms of adding the where clause, and we would use Technic as the answer. Now, the second question we want to answer is also very similar to question 1. We want to know what the total number of parts per year is. So I'm going to copy and paste. All I'm going to do is change this to year and then group by year. And let's see. Am I right? Yeah, I think so. All right. So according to the data set, whenever we don't include the parent theme as part of the selection criteria, then the year 2021 is the year where they created the most number of parts. Okay. Now, it followed closely with 2020, then 2019. Unfortunately, 2017 overtook 2018. Hence, it comes right after 2019. All right. Now, let's include where the parent theme name is not null and see if we get the same results. Execute that. Ooh. By doing that, we see that 2017 is the year where they made the most number of parts, and 2021 follows closely. And then there's quite a gap between 2021 and 2019. All right. So we'll move on quickly to the next question. The question number 3. How many sets were created in each century in the data set? Okay. Because we are using the view, I'm going to go quickly and modify this view to include century. Okay, so I'm going to right click and I'm going to view, alter view. Okay, now what is a century? Give me 1 second. I'm doing some Googling here on the left. Okay, so this is what we're about to do. We're about to do some case statements. Okay, so case when s.year between, let me copy a few things, between this, then we are in the 20th century. 20th century. Okay. Oh, let me do this. Let me organize the query such that I can understand what I'm doing. All right. And then I'm go here and I'll say end as what? I want to end it as century. Oops, century. Okay, now I have one more criteria here. Sorry, condition to pass. And that would be 2001 to what? What is the century? To the 2100s. Okay, so 21st century. How many centuries do we have in the data set? Okay, select distinct year from, we are learning the hard way, I know, but that's how we have to do it. Select distinct year, order by one, order by one. We want to see the century. Okay, so it starts from 1949, which is covered in the 20th century here, and it ends in the current year 20. All right, there are only 2 centuries in the data set. So our case statement is complete. Now we're going to alter the view, run this and execute. Altered. All right, go back here. All right, so now when we come back to our, let me comment this and run this, you should see that we have century now. Yay, perfect. What did I type? 21st. I needed to put in ST. Go back to my view and alter it. ST, alter that. Okay, and then run this again. 20th century, and then 21st century. Perfect. Okay, so now we have our century ready to be used for our analytics. How many sets were created in each century? So I would copy, it says how many sets. And now we have the set number, we have the set name. So we can count the set. Okay, so I'm going to copy this query here. And then I'm going to do a count on the set number as total num sets, or set num, whatever they call it, set num. And then I'm going to use century here, century. And then I have to order by, is that what we call it? Century. Yeah, copy that and put that here in my group by. And I will stick to, I'll leave this out. I don't need the order by because we only have 2 centuries anyways. So run this. Let me clean up the query and run this. Okay, so that's a big difference. So in the 21st century, we have about 14,058 total number of sets. Now in the 20th century, we have 4,858. But that is fair. A lot has happened in the 21st century. Now let's do the same thing where the parent theme is not null, so that we are removing any record that has no parent theme from this analysis. Okay, in that case, we have 5,000 and close to 3,006. That would be approximately 8,600. Thereabout. I cannot tell the exact, but anyways, that is our question, our answer right there. So depending on what we are looking for, we can do that without the parent theme or with the parent theme. Okay. Now the fourth question that we want to answer is, what percentage of sets ever released in the 21st century were trains themed? Let me select star from my analytics main. Okay, before I go into it, let me see what I'll be needing. So the theme, the theme name would have trains, I believe. Will have trains. And then the century has to be 21st century. So first of all, where century is equal to 21st century. Okay, that I know I need. So filter to 21st century for now. And then we want to see the percentage of sets ever released. So I will do century, and I'll do count of sets, because this is a number. I want to count the set because the set number is unique. So set number, and I'll call that total sets. Let me use this again. And then what else? And I need a theme because it says trace. Let me put the themes here. What did I call it? Theme name. So I'll use this here in my group by from 21st century. Group by this. And do I need to order by? No. Okay. So now that I have the total count for each theme in the 21st century, the percentage would have to be, let's say for Orient Expedition, it has to be 28 divided by the sum of all the items in here. So because of that, I need to do some type of subquery. Or my favorite, I would do a CTE. So I'll do a common table expression to be able to, achieve this result. So I'll do a CTE as CTE. You can call it whatever you want. I like to call it CTE. And I'll hold this query that I have below here in the CTE. Okay, and then I'm going to select from the CTE like a table. Okay, so I'm going to select from the CTE, and in here I need a century. I need a century. I need a theme name. And I need everything here, to be honest. Now, how do I get the total record? I mean, the sum of all these items, the sum of all the 285. I think I have to use some window functions in here. I want to do the sum. If it doesn't work, I'll just change it anyways. The sum, and I will just do the over without any partitioning. Let me see. Let me call it as total. No, maybe it's not correct. Let me just keep it as total. Remember, with the CTE, you have to run the select and the CTE together for it to work. Okay, if you just select this and execute, you're going to have an error. Okay, invalid object. So you have to select all that and execute. Okay, that is good. So our total is 1458, and that is, we can prove it from here. Once we run this query, remember the 21st century, the total set count was 14058. So we are good on the total. So what we have to do to get a percentage is to divide this over that. Okay, so now I'm going to just do a copy and paste here. Copy this over here, and I want to divide that by this. Okay, what do we have? Why 0? I'm going to see what this is going to give me. So this is giving me 2 decimal places, numeric with precision and scale. Okay, and then I'm going to divide this by my, let me see. Divide all that by this. What do we get? Yay, we started to get something. And then I want to multiply all of this by 100 to get the whole number in percentage, right? Is that how we do the math? Okay, now I need only how many decimal places? Let me see, what's the smallest number here? Maybe I need about 4 decimal places. So I'm going to cast and remove all these. It gave me troubles for no reason. Cast. So now let's order by. Wow, that took me a minute. Order by what? Order by 3, descending order. Well, I didn't prep myself before coming into this demo, so allow me to make some mistakes, okay? And I want to call it percentage. Percentage. Run this again. Wow, question number 4 took me longer than I expected. So, according to the data set, in the 21st century, the percentage of sets that were released and was trained themed was, I can find it like this. So where theme name, do we have trains or train? Okay, let me just do a like train. So that assuming there was an S. Oh, so we have bad data. We have trace and then we have train, but they are supposed to be the same. No, this is not accurate. So whatever we see here right now, we are seeing a percentage, 100%, because we filtered the data to trains only. So we are seeing 100%. Okay. So it's telling us that out of the 100% trains we have, the theme that is called trains is taking 93%, and the theme that is only called train without the S is taking 4%. But if we took away this where clause, then the data set we are seeing is for everything. Then the total here changes because now you move from 1480 to 63, which is not accurate. So now I have to just do a subquery, okay? A subquery to select from, and when you're doing a subquery, the order by doesn't work, okay? But I will need this outside. I'm sorry, I am looking like I'm creating a mess, but I'm not, okay? Okay, select from main, and then we're going to do where, okay? So we'll select star, and then let's run this and see. Perfect. Now this is what we needed to do. So now, because we did the subquery, it sees the entire data set, and we are saying that just slice it after we have seen the entire data set, only pick trains for the further analytics. So according to the data, I would have to do another sum. So I have to do a sum of total set num, and then a sum of the percentage, okay, to see the total percentage. So trains made a percentage of less than 1 of all the themes that were ever released. It made about just 0.5 or 0.45%, less than 1%. Okay, now that we've seen how to go about this, we can try to do something with Disney. I mean, that's not part of the questions, but now that I'm here, let me see what I can do with Disney. Do we have anything like that? Disney themed. So, ooh, it made 1.26%. How? What about Star Wars? Is it Star Wars? I hope they spelled it correctly. Star Wars made 5.65. Interesting. Well, we deviated from the main question, but now that we have the query, we can switch it with anything that we want to see the percentage they have ever released in terms of sets in the 21st century. The fifth question that we are going to answer is, what is the most popular theme by year in terms of sets released? Ooh, do I need to do another subquery? I'll start with this. What is the most popular theme by year? So I don't need I just need a year instead of, so I need a year in the theme, and then I need the set count, and then, so right now I just need one answer. Nope, group by year, sorry. Group by year. What was the popular theme by year? So I just need 1 year per theme. So let me do a row number count, and then over partition by, that would go into a bracket, partition, wow, partition by year, and I'll order by, I'll do this because, and I'll have to order by descending order too, so that I see the biggest at the top. So Rn. Now let me run this one out. Order by year, descending. So for 2022, the theme city has the maximum number of sets. However, in 2021, we had gear with 225 total set number. And in 2020, we had gear. Okay, so now the question says, what was a popular theme by year. So we don't need all these many years. We just need 1 year per record. So I have to select only the records where the row number is equal to 1 because we did the row number and we partitioned by the year. Okay, so it's broken down the year, let's say 2021, is broken down the year 2021 and it has given it numbers or assigned some row numbers based on the total set because I'm saying order by the count of the set and order a descending order. So when you look at 2022, the biggest is at the top. It was only 25 and it's number 1. So what we can do is that we want to do a subquery and select all where the row number Rn is equal to 1. Select from here. And remember, when you're doing a subquery, you have to remove the order by, okay? So order by must come out of the inner query. So I'll call this M, where Rn is equal to 1. And now I can do my order by, okay? Order by year descending. So I want to do this as my columns to view. And I want the total set numbers. And let's run this and see. Perfect. So now we are down to 22 because we just needed 1 year per theme. How many? For about 16 years now, gear theme has been on top in terms of the number of sets produced. But let's say we did our popular where parent theme is not null. Do we come back with the same answer? Because it appears that gear has been on top since 2006 till 2021. And I'm sure because we're in the beginning stages of 2022, it probably would simply overtake city. Is that the case? Let's add a condition here. So, and parent theme, okay, and parent theme is not null. Let's see that. Okay, when we do that, we see keychain. Keychain is dominant when we go with the condition where the parent theme name is not null. We don't even see gear anywhere. Oh, they even had Harry Potter series. That's right. And they have basketball technique. Okay, technique was somewhere in the previous analysis we made. Okay, at least we can answer the question in 2 ways. Depending on what is really required, we can say why the parent theme is not null, or we exclude that condition totally, and then we get some interesting answer with gear. Okay, now let's move on to probably our final question. What is the most produced color of Lego ever in terms of quantity of parts? 1 second. So there's color, parts, oh, inventory, and then in terms of number of parts. Okay, so wait, what is the most produced Lego color of Lego in terms of quantity of parts? So quantity of parts, part number is here. So we can count the part number, but I don't know if the quantity goes with the parts or it goes with the inventory. I believe it goes with the inventory. I'll just have to count the number of parts in. And then we have to do a join to the color and the parts, assuming we want to know the parts name. And yeah, maybe we just need 3 joins and probably the parts categories. So we need 4 tables. Okay. Do we want to create a view? I don't know, but we will start like this. Select from inventory parts, and I'll call that name. Now let's run this and see. I believe this is a lot of data. How many records? Ooh, it's still running. It is still running. Okay, we have over 1 million number of records. Okay, but I don't believe we need all that. Whatever we need is pretty basic or pretty simple, no basic, pretty simple. But I just wanted to join all those tables and see how it would look like. But the only thing we are interested in, because they are talking about colors, I want to start with colors. And then what else? Before I continue, remember we are doing a subquery. We could have created a view with this. We could have created a view with this, but it's okay. We can do this. So I'll call this table main. And do I need to do a filter? I'll do select color. I don't know what we call it. No, color name. Color name. And then, so for this part, the quantity they made is 2. For that part, the quantity they made is 2. So I have to sum, because in terms of quantity of parts. So it's a sum of quantity, okay, as, let me copy this and just put in underscore, quantity of parts. So I have to do a group by on the color name, okay? Group by that. Okay, and probably we have to do order by 2. Order by 2 descending, because I want to see the most. Wow, it's black. The answer is, well, the answer is black depending on whether it has a parent theme or not. But we don't care about themes here. We only care about the quantity of parts. According to the data set, the most produced color ever is black, with over 636,000 different quantities. Okay, over 636,000 in terms of quantity of parts. Followed not closely. It looks as if the difference between black and the second most produced color is really big. It says the second most produced color is light bluish gray. Oh my goodness, light bluish gray. Why can't you just bluish gray? Okay, and then the third one is white, and then there's dark bluish gray. Interesting. In my mind, I expected it to be like the primary colors. I don't know why, because anytime I saw Lego, I saw red, yellow, and like I just expected it to be primary color, not black, be the most produced quantity. Okay, so as a data analyst, we have all the answers to the questions that they need us to, help them with, and then we can prepare this in either some type of a report or a spreadsheet or a data visualization tool. But for now, we can produce the answers. And this will bring us to the end of our data analysis of the LEGO dataset. I found this to be very intriguing and interesting. There is so much you can do with all the data available in here in the database we have created. Remember, we only did 6 questions, but we have about 12 tables. There is so much that you can do with this data. Just practice more. I only did 6 questions, somewhere in 10, somewhere not. But as you have this data set here, play around with it and let's see what you can come up with. So this brings us to the end of our real-world data analysis on the LEGO dataset. Thank you for watching.